Good morning, Aldersley. Welcome to all staff and students on Friday the 3rd of April. This is Mrs Vernon delivering today's assembly. So let's think about how you got on yesterday. It was Miss Treble's assembly and she set you some challenges to think about in terms of ambition, being kind and achievement. I wonder how you got on and whether or not you've achieved any of those today. My challenges link to the theme of my assembly, and that is kindness. So I've set 3 challenges for today, and because this is the last assembly before Easter, those challenges may very well want to carry on over the Easter holidays, particularly as they're to do with the theme of kindness. So the first one is really a challenge for everybody out there, so students, parents, carers, also teachers. We had the clap for the NHS, which seemed to be really successful, and everything I've read online was how amazing the support was and how it brought communities together. So to take that a little bit further, what about writing a thank you note to our NHS workers? I've created a template which I will also attach along with this PowerPoint, or you could make your own. So it could be a letter, it could be a postcard, it could be designing a picture, writing a story, anything that you think people that are working in the NHS at this really difficult time would like to receive. On the next slide, I've put some ideas of how you can share your message. Can we think about using the hashtags, please? AHS thanks the NHS. So just tweet that and it will show you what we think and how we're supporting. Second one is to carry out a random act of kindness. What can you do today to show your kindness? It could be something really simple. So make a drink for a family member, play with a sibling, read them a book, take your dog for a walk. Something really simple, but something that shows that you are thinking of other people. And again, the hashtag for that, AHS, random acts of kindness. And the third one really makes me think about you. So if you're doing things for other people, it also makes you feel good, but sometimes you do have to just take care of yourself. So the third one really is take some time and do something to be kind to yourself. Could be things like reading a book, watching a movie, taking some exercise, baking a cake. I know some of you have responded to Mrs Davis's challenge. Phone a friend, or something that makes you happy. And again, hashtag for that, taking care of me. Show those hashtags and let's spread that kindness far and wide. So, in response to the first challenge about the NHS and thanking them, a couple of ways that you could get involved. So, you could actually write a letter or a postcard, put it in the post box. I've put the address there of New Cross Hospital. That is the general address. You could address it to all doctors or nurses or healthcare staff, and that would come through the post, and then I expect they would either be put on a notice board or something that the staff could see. You could do it on Twitter, so you could write a post with your note or your letter or your postcard, and then you could upload a picture of that and tag at NHS UK, and also tag in Aldersley High School as well on Twitter so that your ASL teachers can see, and perhaps there'll be some reward points that we can do as an act of kindness to reward you. Any of you on Instagram, again, may have seen people like Jerry Halliwell had written letters and they'd posted them online with the hashtag to the NHS. Anything that you're doing online, remember Miss Huntington's advice about staying safe and make sure you're following the correct procedures. Some of you might have friends or relatives that work in the NHS and you could give them to take into work. I know Mr Edwards in DT has offered his services, so if you email him a letter and attach it, he could print it out and give it to his family members that are working there. And what about if you've got any NHS staff who live in your street? You could do a picture thanking the NHS, stick it up in your window and they might see it. There was a lovely video online showing an NHS worker, and every morning that she went to work, her whole street came out and they clapped and cheered her, and it made her quite emotional when she was going to work. So just by having it in the window, that could actually show people that you're there and you're thinking about them. So when we think about kindness, I think we all seem to know what kindness is, but just a definition there. So it's the quality of being friendly, generous and considerate. Affection, gentleness, warmth, concern and care are words that we normally associate with kindness. And sometimes kindness has the connotation of meaning someone that is naive or weak, but this isn't the case at all. Being kind requires courage and strength, and you putting yourself out there to thank and be kind to other people. So it's a good quality to have, one of those interpersonal qualities. And at the moment, it links into that thinking of others and being kind. When you think about the impact of kindness, it has two impacts really. It makes the person that you're being kind to feel valued, loved and appreciated. They know that you're thinking about them. But also it makes you feel good about yourself, raises your self-esteem, your happiness. And if you've done something kind, you get a little glow, don't you? And you think, wow, that was really important and I did that. And that little quote there says, love and kindness are never wasted. They make a difference and they bless the one that receives them and bless the giver too. So it is that two-way thing. And a random act of kindness makes you feel really good as well. So that's really important in these times when people are isolated. So I've put a link to a website there, which is a mental health website, and they have got on there lots of great ideas for random acts of kindness, and I've just sort of screenshot a few there. It's written by a mental health charity, and all the advice on there is fabulous, and it tells you how it can help to relieve sort of anxiety, to relieve stress, to relieve pressure. As I said, there's a few listed there, but there really are just a few, and there are lots of other things that you do. Think about being at home at the moment, and especially over Easter, you're all going to be together, and it makes people sometimes a little bit argumentative and intolerant of others. So that little random act of kindness where you offer to hoover the front room, or you make your mum, dad or carer a cup of tea in the morning, just really does go that little way of making them feel appreciated and valued. Just a few sort of headlines there. I was looking at how this impact of kindness, particularly during the COVID-19 outbreak, has really helped the sort of communities come together. The first one was from a doctor who had written in The Guardian about how it made him feel and how it made him think that he wasn't alone and that everybody he was doing was appreciative. There's another one down there from an 8-year-old who wrote a letter to the NHS, and she posted it to New Cross Hospital about telling them how brave they are. So if you've done a really long shift and you come out and somebody's pinned a note up on there telling you they appreciate you, again, makes a difference. I think the clapping that we did really was effective, and it made people feel like they were doing something, however small and menial. It actually felt like you were doing something. And again, the posters there that people are sent, it's telling people how much you're thinking of them and how what they're doing is making a difference. Kindness is free. You don't have to pay to do any of the things, and you don't have to go out of your way to do something big. You can do those little things that just show that, and that is really important, isn't it, to think about. Perhaps people at home haven't got much money at the moment, uncertain about jobs, but being kind doesn't cost anything. So that was really the end of what I wanted to get over in terms of the kindness, and I think at the moment it's particularly important that we are kind and that we show people we appreciate them. Just to remind you again about Teams and being online, and that you're all supported and that you're all together. And I'm going around lessons, dropping in particularly into Year 9 lessons, and some of the things that I'm seeing online, some of the support that other students are offering each other, that makes me feel really happy, and I can see that you're being kind and your teachers are really putting themselves out there, aren't they? And that support is sort of really fabulous. Again, most of you now are using Teams appropriately, and that you're using it as you would in a classroom, and a lot of that sort of chatting has sort of now stopped, which is important. You can chat online to your friends in various places. Just remember that Teams isn't the place to do that. And perhaps, you know, that kindness before we finish for Easter, perhaps put on there a word of kindness to support the teachers that are, you know, teaching you every day. Again, and I know your ASLs have asked you to send postcards and little notes. We appreciate them. We really do appreciate them. So online lessons, think about those things. So last lot of our online lessons today. Make sure you're prepared, have it all ready, check your answers, and we are changing the form time at the moment, so there's not going to be any sort of interaction with staff, but there are going to be challenges online that you can do. Keeping safe, this is really important. Obviously today you can email all your ASLs and they will get back to you up until 4 o'clock. But obviously after that, because it's Easter, we will be shutting down that form. 3rd of April today, what does it say on our advice on our active coping calendar? So today it's talking about 10 things that you feel grateful for in life and why. We've had some pictures already, haven't we, from staff and others on Twitter about what makes them feel happy, and that's really great to see. So again, it would fit in with that sort of 3rd challenge I set you about looking after yourself and do something to be kind to you. So, as it is the last day of term today, thinking about the Easter holidays, Teams will be shut down, so they will not be manned over Easter. So any messages that you put will not be read for 2 weeks. So please be mindful of that. Staff won't be accessing Teams. They'll be having a well-earned break. And you just need to be aware that if you put anything on there, nobody will see it. So on the next slide, I'm going to just remind you of who to contact. There are lots of Easter challenges if you want access to keep you busy, because you've now got 2 weeks where you've got limited chance to get out. So it's all about keeping your spirits up and keeping busy. You can find them on the whole staff and student teams, and also ASLs have added specific ones to the year team groups. So perhaps have a look at those if you've got any time today to see what is out there. So we are shutting Teams down. If you need any safeguarding support or advice over the 2 weeks, please use these numbers or resources. So you've got Kooth, which is an online sort of mental health support, which I know a lot of our students have accessed, and it really is effective. You've got the police, ambulance, Childline, and Samaritans. So if you are struggling, you can always ring one of those, but turn to family, friends, neighbours, those people there that can support you. And the last sort of message is have a great Easter break, stay safe and be kind, and we'll see you when we return after the Easter break. Thank you.